And it's cold MREs. None of the good bits of those MRIs are still in there. You're getting just like the really rough crackers, the just cold entrees that you're just kind of like scooping out, and there's nothing enjoyable about it. It'll fill the belly, but So you mentioned that mental block, Tuesday night of Hell Week, whatever time it was. But you were mentioning that. Do you remember what it was that just kind of clicked in your brain, and then all of a sudden you're like, nope, not doing it again. I'm seeing this through.
My grandmother and my kids, 100%. 100%. Whatever it is for each individual, it has to be in the forefront of your mind. You have to be doing something great outside of you. I'll say that to anyone. If it's about you doing it, an accomplishment, just like a self-gratification thing, just you just wanting to do this, when you run into something challenging, very hard for you, you may walk away from it because it's like no big deal. You know, you say you just wanted to give this thing a shot. But when you're doing something for something outside of yourself, I was doing this because I wanted to make my grandmother proud of me. Growing up without my mom and dad, my grandmother was everything. So I wanted her to see her grandson be like, wow, he has accomplished something real, something that no one in my family pipeline grew up with ever even imagine. We saw people in the SEAL teams on movies and TVs back in the Charlie Sheen Navy SEAL movie day.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, that's a Navy SEAL movie that I only saw before I became a SEAL back in the day. The only one, Navy SEAL with Charlie Sheen in it. Go back and look at that. That was a classic.
Yeah,
My
jumping
kids,
off the bridge.
And I want to jumping off the bridge is the number one thing that I always think about. That's what got shot me. Man, this is how Navy SEALs are. They just like all out. You know what I mean? And they get to shoot guns and just be laughing and be having a good time. Yeah, I wanted that life. And my kids, I wanted them to be proud. So I tell anybody, man, find something outside of you that's going to make you want to keep doing something or go through the hell of something to achieve it, accomplish it, get it, because it's really going to help you. So when I had that mental block, that Tuesday at Midrats again, Midrats, you know, for people who don't know, that's what we eat at midnight before you go back out and go at it again. You ain't eating like relax. You're wet, cold, sandy. You got to swallow this food down in a matter of seconds, and you got to get back out there again. So,
and it's cold MREs. None of the good bits of those MRIs are still in there. You're getting just like the really rough crackers, the just cold entrees that you're just kind of like scooping out, and there's nothing enjoyable about it. It'll fill the belly, but you're sandy, you're wet.
It's disgusting. It's just like, oh, but you want something so bad. And it's like they give you this, even though you don't want to eat it, but you're like, I'm going to eat this. I need something in me. And it's the worst. And your body is tired, broken down, you're bleeding, everything hurts. And man, I looked over there, and when I thought about those things, all I saw was you can't leave. You can't give up on them again. I did once, right? Because I didn't use them as my number one reason why I'm here. It was all about me the first time, not the second time. Second time, it was like, I'm doing this for something else. And also for the country. I wanted to be something directly involved with the world at the time. I just wanted to make an impact and make an impact on my kids. And long story short, yeah, I graduated Buzz as the Honor Grad, which is, as you said, it was something that people are identified, not because you're the best physically and all that stuff, but because you're the one who put out the most. There was nothing that was going to break you. They identified who you were as a person, as your character, the character that we look for in each individual that we want in the SEAL teams. That's what we want. And I was able to give that. Not toot my horn, but that's what I was wanting to like be a part of, that type of character and personality. And got the SQT and then did it again. Graduated top of my class again as the Honor Grad. So I did it twice.
Man,
and I think
that's awesome.
I did the historian, Rick Nepper, I didn't talk to him about that graduated SQT, but he told me in Buzz because he's been around for the longest time. Old head, for those who don't know, he's been around at Buzz since there was Buds. So he knows the type of people that graduated throughout the years. I don't know if I was the first Black to do that in SQT, but I believe I might have been the first to do it for both Buds and SQT back to back. So that was a huge accomplishment.
Yeah, man, that is awesome. And I really like what you said there. You were talking about the selflessness behind it. You had a reason beyond yourself, And it was that desire to serve others, that desire to make a better life for your kids, for your family, and like you said, not just that, for your country. So you wanted to do all those things, and it was from that internal drive that you really shone. I mean, you hit
that was it, man.
honor graduate both times, boom, boom. You made history, and it was from a place of selflessness and a desire to serve.
And that's what, man, and I tell people that's where success really lies. When you're really willing to give that service or something and excel in service, that means you're doing something for someone else. That's where, the peace is, the significant is. We create that then. You find that then. And that's what I wanted because, my kids, I had kids in high school. That's how it was for me. So I was one of those people who didn't have mom and dad, raised by my grandparents. Mom was on drugs, in and out of prison, all that stuff. And then here I am, teenage high schooler. I'm having kids in high school. Now I'm becoming a statistic of society where society says this dude is not meant to be anything now, but just a regular working Joe going back and forth to work, probably living paycheck to paycheck, doing this. But my desire was to show my kids something better in life, break that cycle, and be bigger and better for them. And show my grandmother, who was always sick with something because of her health, that her grandson is now being taken care of. He can take care of himself. He's safe for her.
Man, that's really good stuff. I just want to kind of pull on that a little bit. So you've been a family man for as long as I've known you. Like you said, you had your kids in high school. When we met, you were already a dad, had kids for a while. Now you've got a fresh budding relationship. Congratulations on that. You got some newness coming in.
Thanks.
But you said break the cycle. And I think that that's very important. Right now, I think there's a lot of us as Americans that we're just kind of stuck in this cycle of media, of what we're seeing on the news, of what's being force fed to us, and how that emotionally charges us. So I just wanted to kind of see, as from your perspective, as somebody who's had a family and you've broken those cycles, what would you encourage the average everyday American, or just, I don't mean to keep saying average and all that kind of stuff, but what would you encourage us as humans, as people, to do to bring us together more, as opposed to widening and deepening that divide? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, that's a big one now. And I try to, because people always, especially now, I think America is being very polarized in religion and Christianity, and whether you believe it this way or believe it that way, you're the enemy or you're the good guy. Me being a Christian myself, I'm not the best at it. I don't read every day. I don't do all these different things. So I'm not that guy, but I'll tell people, get out of the cultish mindset of your side is the best side all the time. I'm not a Republican, not a Democrat. I've only voted once. That was for Obama because it was the coolest thing and he was the first black guy to do it. I had to. And not only that, because he was the first black guy that I thought had the sense, the character, the personality. He's been through parts of experience working as, I forgot what he did in Chicago as something congressman.
And he was a senator. Yeah, he was a senator. He did a lot of stuff in the state of Illinois, and then moved on to the presidency. Yeah.
Moving on to that, very smart, intelligent man. He was somebody I can definitely get behind, be like, wow, that's a historical moment. I liked every president, pretty much. But everyone has their faults. I like to tell people when I'm talking about this stuff, politics is, first, people need to understand that both sides, and not everyone on both sides are bad, but both sides have bad people. They have extremists on both sides. So let the mindset that the bad is coming from the other side and not your side as well. Just drop it. Drop it and be a humble human being and say, both sides have bad people, period. Both sides are convincing people that the other side is the enemy. Both sides are doing these things. And be a individual thinker to just be willing to be humble and be kind. We need people to be kind more so in America than we've ever had because things are just getting crazy now. And I try to tell people, man, that stop having this mindset that you're just a teamer. If I'm a Republican and your Republican isn't shit, but the Democrat nominee is better, why can't you vote for the Democrat? And the same thing, if you're a Democrat and you know the Democrat candidate ain't shit, why and what's wrong with you voting for the Republican? If you know these people are just better, it's not the whole party, it's just a few people. So I always tell people, man, it's just like, be a thinker. Don't be someone who just follows everybody because your family was stuck on this side or because your friends are majority speaking this way. I'm always someone who's like, no, chill out, talk with respect. That's what our politicians should be doing. Our politicians talk with too much aggressiveness and too much attitude. I like to talk with respect. I come from a background of aggressiveness, anger, violence. So I know what tough talk can do. And tough talk doesn't do anything if you're trying to be a professional, right? Most of the time, tough talk is just you're a wimp. You're a punk. You're just talking, but you can't do anything outside of just talk. So I try to tell people, man, just because somebody talks tough, don't think that they're just some tough guy or a woman. I just like to say, man, just we need to come together as people, understand we're all humans and we're all individuals. We all love America. I don't know any politician that I know of that doesn't love America. I think just we just have different ideas on how to best go about running America. But we are definitely losing face, I think, over the years with the other worlds of the country on how American standards are. Standards are a thing. Get back to the standards. Get back to high standards.
Yeah.
I think we've lost standards. We're just letting anything. Basically, I would say America's problem is we're too free. We're too free, and our freedom now has come back biting us in the butt. We don't want to be a dictatorship neither, but our freedoms have come back in a way where now we allow people to just do whatever at any given time, and it's okay. We're allowing things to just be okay, and we're accepting these things. We got to go back to standards. There has to be a standard. How we're going to get back there, Brent, I ain't gonna lie to you, I don't know, because it's almost to the point where no one wants to trust the other side to set the tone on those standards. Right. If the Republicans set the standard, Democrats think that standard is too high or too low. Same thing if the Democrats create it. Republicans think it's too high. Nobody's going to agree on the standard now. So it's like, how do we get back to the standards of how America should be, where people are nice and kind to your neighbors, you respect each other, you're not beating each other upside the head, but you just want to be nice and kind. And that's what I try to be, because like I said, I come from a background of violence and anger and fight. Mm-hmm. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything. And when you're in a political position, high politics as a politician or whatever, you're supposed to be a higher standard than the community. You're supposed to be able to debate each other. You're supposed to be able to go back and forth with ideas and not hurt each other, for that, or kill each other for that. But we're definitely like in a place where, we're getting, verbiage is getting crazy, and leadership is everything. And it starts with leadership. Leadership is the key. And if our leadership isn't willing to set the tone, calm the anger, if leadership is the one out there putting out crazy stuff and fight, and we ain't gonna never change.
Right. Yeah, I like what you're saying there, is that it's too easy for us to get sucked into the team part of it. Oh, well, my team says this, so no matter what, I'm go team, go, rah, rah, rah. You guys all suck, but my team's the best. And you're absolutely right. It is on both sides. I think that you touched on a couple things that are really powerful there, is starting with that foundation of respect and kindness, recognizing that inherent humanity that we all share. Hey, you might have a different opinion. That's okay. I'm going to, one, be kind to you, because there's not going to be any communication if I'm just automatically aggressive and just trying to be angry. Communication shuts down right there immediately. So kindness. Hey, you might have a different point of view. Tell me about it. What's it like? Why do you have that? Seek to understand. Have enough respect for that other person to seek to understand why they feel that way and why they hold that position, because chances are it's rooted in something that's one of your core values too, something that you highly agree with as well. And then you were talking about another thing, is how we've let the standard down. We have lost a lot of respect and influence in the world at large, in the community at large, for maybe saying one thing, going on a platform for 20 years, saying we're doing this for this reason, and then just completely turning our back on it, just toss, right? lost a ton of respect. And so you're breaking that down, not just from like national level, not just like big global events, but that standard. And to me, that key point that you're talking about is having accountability to that standard. When we lose that accountability, that's whenever we set ourselves up to fail ourselves and to fail in the spotlight in the world community, because nobody's getting in trouble for their bad actions. No one's getting kudos for their positive actions. It's just, like you said, freedom. Everybody's doing what they want. They've got their freedom. They're saying what they want, which that's why you and I did what we did. We did what we did so that people had that freedom to do it. But what I believe needs to get tuned up a little bit to have ourselves kind of become respected again, to be able to make these positive changes that we both believe in, is we've got to get back to some degree of accountability from the top down and from the bottom up.
Man, I agree, bro. So big time. I mean, these politicians are the ones who they say these wild things and there's nothing accountable to them. And they all know the facts, they all know the truth, but they can spin it to fit their narrative. And then they say this to people and get people so riled up in what they're saying. And they know they're not saying the full truth. They're just getting you to follow what they're trying to say about the narrative so they can win your vote and they can get that position. And then they're some lifetime seat or whatever, or they're set for the rest of their life, even if they only do one term. So it's like, if there's no accountability in what you say, as far as when you're in those positions as a leader in politics, and you could just ramble on and you're put on these platforms, these news stations or whatever, and you can just galvanize a large amount of people with lies and deceit and mistruths and not telling the full truth, you are setting us up for failure in America and people outside the country. Because as you know, you and I both have traveled the world, and I'm still even traveling right now. I'm in South Africa, and people ask me all the time when they can tell I'm an American while I'm out here hanging out. They look at America and they're like, what is going on? What is this? What are you guys up to over there? And all I can say is we just need to get back to normalcy, respect, high standards, and holding people accountable for what we're putting out there, because you have power when you're in those positions. What's the moral statements about power? What comes power comes responsibility.
That's
Power,
right.
something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. With great power comes great responsibility. That's good stuff. So, yeah, I think that that's good guidance. And it might be the exact same. It sounds like, hey, these political figures are put in charge. They've got the power to make the right changes, to do right by their constituents. But bringing it down to the everyday level, what would you encourage others to do to cultivate the connections and the similarities that we all share as humans to help bring us together more, as opposed to dividing us along some of those lines that we just talked about?
I'd say start with the human side. Be a good human to people. Stop just following what you're being told all the time. Be a good human. No, don't neglect what you're being told neither. Don't just, brush off things that you're being told. Some of this stuff has truth to it, some of it doesn't, but just be a good human, and we can find our way through all the chaos of it, right? And then find ourselves to a good even ground and find our standards again, our foundation again. But it got to start with us being good humans. You know what I mean? Coming out of the late '90s, early 2000s, I think we was, as a country, we were good humans to each other. I think we were better during those times. And now it seems like we've lost that humanity side of respect. And now people say what they want. Social media has definitely aided that, because everyone now has an opinion. They can reach you wherever now, but we can't blame it on social media. Technology was always going to expand. You always have a way to do things, and it's only going to get worse and worse. So we can't figure out a way to balance out now, then it's just going to get to a point where, we're going to have civil war in America. And I know that's a little bit of an extreme, but I don't see anywhere right now how we're bringing everything back to a nice standard. Right now, everything's broken out of the box and it's fragments everywhere. Everybody's getting hit with shrapnel. It's all
Right.
over the place. So how do we bring that thing back and lock it down where now, okay, we have some stability, we have a foundation, we have some standards again, and now we can flow through that instead of just shattered pieces of glass everywhere, and it's just doing that. So I just hope people come back together and just be kind, man. Just be kind. And we got people breaking up families because they're a Republican or a Democrat. You don't talk to the other person. It's like we got to stop all of that. Let's just stop all of that and just have respect for each and every person's beliefs. And we can get back to that again. That'll be a great position for America to be in. Get back to respecting each other's beliefs. You may not agree with them. That's okay. I don't agree with a lot of stuff that's going on now. I didn't agree with a lot of stuff that's going on with Biden. But at the end of the day, we can still be kind and have respect and have class. Class is going to put us in the right place where we need to be as people.
Dude, that's super powerful stuff. Thank you for sharing that, because I think that is absolute gold. So what do we got to look forward for in your future? You've got a lot of amazing things. We've got the premiere of Special Forces World's Toughest Test coming out this week. Along with that, what's your new mission? What's on the horizon?
Man, as you know, coming out of the military, we had a mission, right? And our mission was really to impact the world, what we did. And now that we're out of the military, both you and I, my mission is trying to figure out how to continue that path by helping the world. And what I've identified over the last few years is I can help the world with my voice, right? Coming together and teaching people, one, our youth, men and women, how to understand going through the process of a thing to be successful in life. I'm a perfect example again, right? You heard my background. I want people to see that, the young men and women, to know that stop looking for just something to just fall into your lap. I think that's the system that we have, that we've opened up to so many people in our youth. And that's what they're looking for. They're afraid to go through a process of hardship. They're afraid to do the things that you and I did to get to the place where you and I are. They're afraid to pay their dues, so to speak. Pay your dues. You got to work hard. You may be in your early 20s. A lot of us in our early 20s, we worked hard, right? We worked 2-3 jobs. I remember having a part-time job while I was still active duty, especially in my early years. I worked at Walmart one time. I worked at a movie DVD thing, Blockbuster, but it wasn't Blockbuster, it was another one. Worked at a clothing store while I was still active duty. It's like I paid my dues. I went through it. You know what I mean? And I think people need to understand that. So I try to use my voice to teach these young men and women to be better, to go through the process, to be more hungry for whatever that thing is. So I do this in my motivational speaking tours, gigs that I get here and there. And on the show, of course, is Mentorship. And I try to do that on my social media platforms, is drop some, 30 seconds to a minute type of motivational things they can grab onto on my YouTube channel as well. So I try to do that. That's the thing for me right now, is to use my voice to still help people of this world. Because by the time I die, I'm 45 right now. So when I die, whatever age I am at that point, I want to hopefully rest in my bed and say, hey, I at least impacted the world, millions of lives. And I hope people heard my voice and it helped them in some way. Some people will never agree with me. That's fine. But I hope the ones that do are able to find themselves and move forward in this life. And that's pretty much what I'm trying to do now. I mean, now I'm in a new relationship, found my wife to be great woman. She's from South Africa. That's why I'm out here right now in Cape Town, waiting for her visa and everything to get through here in the next few months. And then we're coming back to America. All right. She's happy to be in America, and I can't wait to show her America. And I'm just hanging out on the beach out here with her, doing jobs here and there between when I get called back to America to do my speaking gigs or the show, or whatever I got to do. And just getting the other gigs from the entertainment world, trying to get in movies now, trying to do other shows. I'm trying to consistently be busy, because you and I know when you stop being busy, we die, right? We shrivel up, shit breaks at the seams.
Yeah.
That's when bad things happen, when you stop. So I'm trying to keep busy so I can continue living this life and doing great things.
Absolutely, man. I'm stoked on all of that. So it has been great to hear from a gentleman who has just succeeded in many dimensions of life. And not only that, not only have you found success for yourself, served your country, served others, but now you're taking on that role of being a mentor, of trying to help our generation and the generations to come. So what I've been doing on my show too, is to wrap it up, is what I call DB and C, which is debrief and cocktails, where we kind of just try to take some of those key points. Debrief and cocktails.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I
and
do.
and just kind of synthesize it. So some of the key elements that I think that you've brought to us with your mentorship and with that voice that you're sharing with the world, and thank you so much for that, is the 40% rule. Whenever you think you've had it, whenever you think that you've reached your limit, you've only gone about 40% of what you're capable of. There's still another untapped 60% that you can keep going and you can keep doing. So if you're at a sticking point in your life, you're at a plateau and you've been stuck there, if you're facing a big wall, a big barrier, you're wanting to quit, depression, alcoholism, addiction, whatever it is, you've only hit 40%. You're capable of so much more. You're so much stronger, so much more powerful. So tap into that 60%, keep going, and break through it. Also, I encourage myself, everyone, we all have our emotions. We all get angry. We all get different things happen to us. We're having a bad day, whatever it might be. Things aren't going the way we want it to. But leading with kindness and respect. I encourage myself to double down on this. And Q was saying, like, hey, man, that's what's going to bring us together. That's what's going to help sort through all of this divisive BS, is if we can just stop, get back to some basics. They're not hard. Being kind and respecting other people. And then finally, mentorship. We have Q here. He says, my next chapter is being a voice. My next chapter is helping other people. My next chapter is raising other people up. So this week, I encourage you to find one thing that you can do to mentor, to give back, to leave a legacy with the next generation so that we can help make this world a better place. So I'd say that those are the 3 big points that we got out of this episode for Debrief and Cocktails. If you've got other insights that you want to share, drop them in the comments. Let us know. We'd love to hear all about it. But thank you so much for joining us. Q, do you got any last words?
All I can say, thanks for having me, Brent. I appreciate this, man. It's been a good time getting back with you again. And now I know you're up in Illinois, up in that close to, well, you're not too close to Chicago, but, or are you close to Chicago?
Not too bad, about 4 hours. But okay, it's striking distance, but yeah.
That's all I want to say, man. I want to have to come up there and have to hang out with you sometime when I get back to the country, man. I can't wait to get back over there and come just give you a big hug and say, man, I'm proud of you at the same time.
Thank you, brother. Absolutely, man. I'm looking forward to reconnecting, man. It's been too long, so I'm stoked. We'll do it.
All right.
Have a good one. Safe travels.
Same. Thanks, brother.
Baby.